Hello and welcome to another video by me. This time we're going over the Ultrasonic from Custom Audio Art. So, the Ultrasonic from Custom Audio Art. Custom Audio Art themselves are an Italian-based company who hand make the pedals themselves, and I've been asked to check these out basically by Mo over at TSB, The Sound Boutique. The Sound Boutique is a small UK e-shop that sells, generally speaking, mainly sells second-hand used gear, hard to find gear, but he's kind of trying to sort of pioneer this brand into the UK. So yeah, he asked me to check these out, if I liked them, do a demo, etc, etc, etc. It's not paid promotion, full clarity on that. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not even getting to keep the pedal. It's just for shits and giggles, basically. He asked if I liked them, do something with them. So I've been asked to demo this and also have a look at this. This is the Drive and Boost. The Drive and Boost I used on the intro track on the Rhythm channel, and the Ultrasonic I used on the lead channel throughout, or my rendition, my interpretation of lead. So anyway, it's the Ultrasonic that we're talking about today. The Ultrasonic is basically a mid to high gain amp in a box, a 2-channel mid to high gain amp in a box. You have, control wise, you have Master 1 and gain 1, and you have Master 2 and gain 2, and then you have a shared 3-band EQ, so you've got obviously mid, treble, and or mid, high and bass, and then you have a foot switch to engage the pedal, and then you have a channel selection switch, and then there's a third jack input up here which I've yet to actually find out. I believe that is to use like a trigger, like certain switches, like my Harley Benton, my Joyo switcher before that has trigger outs, so you can hit one button and control multiple pedals and multiple MIDI functions and multiple triggers, much the same as when you hit a channel selection switch on an amp. I believe that is probably what that is for. It's either that or it's an expression pedal, but I would have thought more the prior. I would have thought it's just a remote switch input to control the channel selection. It's a thoroughly good pedal. Like I say, I've not been paid to do this, and I wouldn't have done this if I didn't like the pedal, basically. Speaking to the guys over at Custom Audio Art, he said himself, and I must agree, that much beyond sort of midday on the gain channel, both the channels are voiced the same. It's just a case of you can set them independently. So, you know, you can have the master on one ramped or the gain on one ramped and backed off on the other, or however you want them. And like I say, they're all controlled via the shared EQ. But much above sort of 12 o'clock, it does start getting into that sort of really sort of driven Mesa Boogie sort of diesel, almost Soldano-y kind of gain structures, or gain tones. And for that, I thoroughly like it. Anyway, we shall head over to tones. Today, I will be using my Victrory Kraken. Because we're using a drive pedal, I will be going into gain 1, which is based on a Marshall JVM, I believe, and we'll be having that with the sort of the gain really low down, so it's just a little bit hairy, a little bit on the sort of on that edge of breakup where you push the amp further into drive rather than getting louder and louder and louder. And we'll be using that through the TwoNotes Captor into my audio interface, my solid state Logic SSL2 Plus. And into Reaper, and then we'll be using the TwoNotes Wall of Sound feature to do AB sims, basically, because it's too late at night for me to be recording this and the neighbours would not appreciate it. I will be using, for a change, I don't use this guitar very often, my sort of Far Eastern made Les Paul copy that I've tinkered with and altered a lot, and I love it. It is, genuinely speaking, a very good guitar. Anyway, I've waffled. On to tones. Enjoy! Right, so as you can see, the pedal's back on the board. The EQ controls, the three controls in the middle, are all set at midday. Master 1 and Master 2 are both set at a volume that kind of suits the amp. And gain 1 and 2 are sort of set at opposite ends of the spectrum. Gain 1 in this example is higher gain, set at about 3 o'clock, and gain 2 is set at about 9 o'clock. So we'll go through them in sort of levels of gain, from clean to mid gain to high gain. Even the mid gain, to be honest, is fairly ferocious. So yeah, gain 1, channel gain 1 of the Kraken with the Les Paul copy. So here we go, the infamous clean tone to start with. as you can hear, the EQ in sort of all positions to an extent is fairly usable. I mean, even with the controls wound all the way back, I can imagine how I'd potentially use that as a layer in a track, even just like a muted intro or something like that. But you can see what they mean as well by, like, once the gain gets past a certain point, it just gets fucking hairy, doesn't it? So we'll go through the gain now. Again, the gain range is completely usable. You know, it goes from super high chuggability through to, you know, usable. I'm not going to say bluesy because I don't do bluesy at all, but that whole kind of a really usable lower gain, smooth, rounded tone also. So that's it. What did you think? I thoroughly like this pedal. Like I say, I had no pressure at all to do anything with this pedal. Mo sent it over. Mo from TSB, I'll put links down below to his page and his shop, etc. Mo sent this over and was just like, check it out. If you dig it, demo it. If you don't, send it back. You know, no pressure. And yeah, I dig it enough to demo it, definitely. I would have done the drive and boost as well if I had more time, but unfortunately I do need to give them back to Mo because he does need to be selling them. My only observation is, and I'll speak to the guys over at Custom Audio Art for what it's worth, is that I wish it had, you'll see it when I use it, when the pedal isn't engaged, no LEDs are on, so you don't know what channel you're in. A bonus to this pedal is that while the pedal is off, you can still switch channels. So, you know, if you're in a track and you've turned this pedal off, you've gone back to your clean tone, and you were using it on the high gain setting, but you want to come back to it in the low gain setting, you can, whilst in the clean sound, in your clean tone, hit this to swap it down into the lower gain, whichever side you have lower gain, the lower gain setting, and then when you engage it, it'll be on the lower gain setting, and vice versa. But when it's turned off, there's no indication of what channel you're actually on. So you'd have to kind of think that through. I'm sure if you lived with the pedal for a while, you'd fully understand and you'd know what you were doing. But that's just an observation from me. But yeah, other than that, tone-wise, construction-wise, build quality, sound quality, there's nothing to complain about at all. It's a brilliant pedal. But yeah, tell us what you thought down below in the comments. Did you have a favourite setting? What did you think of the tones on tap? Also be quite interested to think in what you think of also the wall of sound setup instead of using a pure cab mic'd up. I'm enjoying it thus far. It's a bit more reliable in terms of mic position. It's just always there, isn't it? The amount of times I've set up and then knocked a mic and it's been like forever searching for that perfect tone again. So for those purposes, I quite enjoy it. Anyway, so yes, comments down below, more than welcome. Constructive criticism, more than welcome. Thumbs up, appreciated. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. I'd love that. Don't see the point in thumbs down button, and I don't see the point in negative, shitty, trolley type comments. So don't bother leaving them. I'll be going out again, leaving out. The outro music will be the same as the intro music. Will be the track I use. So be hearing that on the rhythm track, the drive and boost on the rhythm track, and the ultrasonic on the lead track again, much the same as before. And that's it. So, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.